There's a problem with shoplifting. One of the reasons why this is a problem is because people are being told, you deserve this. You're not making a livable wage. Hello, everybody. This is Elmo the Conservative, and you're listening to Brutally Honest Talk Radio. There used to be a band in the 80s called the Smiths, and they had a lot of great songs. One song that they had was called Shoplifters of the World. I think some of you know where I'm going with this, if you've been keeping up in the news for the last couple of weeks. Look this up. Very good song, okay? Like I said, it's from the 80s. Shoplifters of the World. The band is called the Smiths. Well, when the song was done, it was a parody. It was a novelty song. It was like a joke, you know? It was like a joke when we heard it. Well, Shoplifters of the World, or at least in America, are trying to take over. There's a huge problem now in the United States, in many places all over the country that are not close to each other. There's like this uprising with shoplifters. Again, I'm Elmo the Conservative. Inger is out because she is under the weather, so we will not hear her voice looming and commenting. You just got me. There's a problem with shoplifting. And before I get into that, let me remind people to subscribe. Share this video. For the people that are listening on YouTube, click the notification bell. And we got people listening on Rumble, Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, of course, YouTube, and more. There's a problem with shoplifting. And the reason why there's really a problem is twofold. Number one, people are feeling entitled. One of the reasons they may feel entitled is because people like Ocasio-Cortez is saying that, of course, people are looting. Of course, they're going into stores. You remember what happened in 2020, going into Target, shoplifting, looting, stealing stuff. It always happens right after a riot. The looters move in and steal the plunder. So you got people in Congress like Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, aka AOC, who is partners with the Squad. There's 4 women in Congress, who is saying things like, of course people are stealing because they're not making a livable wage. That's why people were rioting when George Floyd got killed. They're not stealing food. They're not stealing food, but she wants you to believe that it's because people are not getting paid high enough. So what our parents taught us, what our grandparents taught us about right and wrong and stealing, what is biblical law and the teaching in Christianity, thou shalt not steal, that is one of the 10 commandments alone by itself. Thou shalt not steal. Stealing is wrong. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself and getting all over the place. So let me try to get some organization to this. And we're going to hear some audio from this woman justifying the shoplifters. So, one of the reasons why this is a problem is because people are being told, you deserve this. You're not making a livable wage. Let me stop right here and ask a question. What is a livable wage? What is that? People believe that it is more than minimum wage. Okay, how much is it? Because if you can't say how much it is and you can't articulate it, you're putting it in the same category with climate change or with the rich. The evil rich need to pay their fair share. Nobody says how much that is. The rich need to pay their fair share. Let's define things. Always be skeptical of anyone, any group, any politician that can't be specific and articulate things. Even if you agree with what they're saying and you want things to get done, things can't get done when they're spoken about in general. You got to be specific. You got to say names. Of course, my generation, when I was coming up, the thinking was, you want to make more money than you're making now? Get more skills, work harder. We always encourage people to email us. We're thankful for those of you who do and who comment on our YouTube videos. So comment on this, or we really prefer that you email us. So brutehonest@gmail.com. How much is a livable wage? That's one thing. I challenge anybody, with so many loud voices, with so many people barking, with so many squeaky wheels, no one is saying what a livable wage is. And that's because they don't want us to reach a livable wage. They don't want things to be solved. They want things to be burned and torn up. They want you to stay mad. They want you to feel oppressed. So if you reach your goal, then that will eliminate the problems or the things that are making you feel downtrodden and defeated. Okay, so that's one thing. That's one takeaway that I want y'all to have. Notice that nobody is saying what a livable wage is. I never use that phrase. I used to not make very good money, little money. Everybody usually at one time or another is making minimum wage. There wasn't a complaining about that. So let me mention a couple things. Like I said, many states across the country is having a problem with shoplifting now. So yeah, we got phony, fake, sorry excuses for leaders like AOC saying that, of course, people riot and loot and shoplift because they don't. We need to raise the minimum wage. We need to depend on the government, give them one more reason for us to be thankful and grateful for them so that they can expect a vote from us in return. All right. So the other thing is local governments or state governments are passing these laws and telling law enforcement to go soft, or just the legislators are going soft on what the laws are, what the punishment is. One of the things that I'm saying, like, for example, San Francisco, California, you can steal up to $300 or $299 and you can't get arrested. You can check me on this. This is what I've heard. I've heard this from more than one source and on a national source, national platform. If you call the police on somebody and they're stealing less than $299, they cannot be arrested. Let them go. I'm not sure this will fly in Georgia. I can't, this isn't reaching my neck of the woods, at least not yet. I can't imagine somebody stealing that much stuff and not going to jail. But so this is what is supposed to be the case in San Francisco. So people are like a game of The Price is Right, like a sick game show. Come as close as you can without going over, and then you win, you get away. Some places across the country have these laws. If you steal up to or less than $1,000, it's considered a misdemeanor. All right? So you got misdemeanors, felonies, and then as it goes up and goes up higher, the punishment is more severe. Someone would do more time in prison. So they make this a misdemeanor up to $1,000. So again, people are trying to steal as much as they can without going over. This is devastating to businesses. And you might say, I hope you don't think this way, but a person might think, well, this company or that corporation is rich and they have insurance and they can get it back. Think about if you owned a business and how okay you would be with people vandalizing your store or just coming in and shoplifting stuff, secretly carrying out stuff, and you're losing. You're losing on that. You bought that or you brought it into your store so that you could sell it and make a profit. You had to sacrifice. You had to pay for it to get in there. And imagine somebody stealing merchandise. Let's just call it what it is. Shoplifting is stealing. Stealing merchandise out of your store. And would you feel like it's okay, like you catch them in an act? Go ahead, take it. I understand. It's okay. Take it. I have insurance. I'll just get it back from them. Aside from jacking up the prices of merchandise to make the other customers pay for it. All right, so this is a huge problem. This is where we are now. This is one of the many things that makes me worried about America and the future of America. This kind of thinking. There's an attitude of entitlement. Like, my generation doesn't think that way. There are thieves in every generation. There have been thieves for thousands of years. But the thieves of my generation, they're expecting to go to jail. They're trying not to get caught. They know that the punishment will be severe, and they don't feel entitled. So I don't know what the cutoff range is, where the age is, where people start to feel like they're entitled to get merchandise. And we're not talking about, again, not bread and eggs and milk and meat and things for people to live. We're talking about, I guess there's some flat screen TVs that are under $300. Sneakers, definitely. You get a very, very nice pair of sneakers for under $100. So this is a problem. And want to play a clip, little interview, like Dr. Phil did a show on this dedicated to the problem of shoplifting and, not being able to touch it. Law enforcement's hands are tied, and the thinking. So listen to this. Listen to this woman and what she's saying about shoplifting.
This way about that. So where's Emily?
I would argue that the corporations themselves are the ones that have caused the shoplifting, let's say, epidemic, due to their inability to provide livable wages to their workers. So they turn to shoplifting, in order to make ends meet. We're looking at inflation, right? The price of wages has not increased to match that level. So because of that, there's this gap that exists. And that gap is being met with shoplifting, whether that be expensive items to resell on the internet or whether that be, household goods that they need to go ahead and provide for their families.
So you think if corporate America paid more money, that would solve the shoplifting epidemic?
I do.
How do you respond to the fact that there are more jobs available now than there are people that are unemployed?
We call this the Great Resignation oftentimes because more and more people are resigning than ever before, and it's because they're no longer willing to work for that unlivable wage.
And you think the solution to that is to take what isn't yours?
No, but I'm saying that's a justification. My argument is it's a justification for their stealing and their theft.
Okay, so again, this is how the left is. They're not even hiding it. They're not even apologizing for what they're saying and what they believe. Theft is okay. I don't know if we're in the last days, but this is basically saying that right is wrong and wrong is right. And these people who, the Great Resignation, I have resignated, meaning I have quit my job because I'm not satisfied with the wages that they're paying me. I have a job, but I'm ungrateful and I feel entitled, so I quit it. If you're thinking this way, you're a freaking loser. You need to work. Unless you are mentally handicapped or physically handicapped and you have a serious challenge where you cannot work and you cannot think, you have abilities. You're crushing your own self-esteem and your own pride and your own self-worth by doing this. And you want the rest of the world or the rest of the country, 96, 97, 98% of the country to work. And you be one of the people that is a leech, that you let them work and then you go out and want to take from them. I mean, I want to encourage people. Everyone has abilities and everyone has talents. And it's okay to have a job that you're working 40 hours a week, which you are not completely satisfied with how much it's paying you. So you can get one or two side hustles. Figure out what the heck you enjoy and make some money off of it. Do it. Just try. Just start trying different things. It's insanity. It's insanity what she's talking about. Let's go back to the video. I don't know this person. I don't know if they were a guest on the show or just somebody in the audience, but it's safe to say that they represent many people that agree. All right, let's listen to the rest of it.
So if somebody's at your house right now taking your things.
No, I don't believe in it unless, it's big corporations that I would really support theft. Because ultimately, they're the ones that have stolen the greatest amount from the people.
Are you advocating then that there should be equal outcome?
No, I'm advocating for, equal opportunity and for people to be paid wages that are in fact livable. And that we're seeing, equal distribution of the wealth, ultimately.
Okay, so basically socialism.
Yes.
Do you really think stealing is the way to level the playing field?
I'm not saying that stealing is the answer, ultimately. I'm saying that there are other solutions of which we have a greater social issue to address.
Yeah, losers and thieves and people stealing merchandise, that is a great social issue to address. Because, I mean, this is like the first time in history that people have been adopting this philosophy and thinking this way. Because my generation, my parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, if you steal, then you get your ass beaten. If you mess up in school, I mean, like vandalism or theft, you get a spanking or you got a spanking at home and at school. And then you get grown, you still out of line. Well, the police would take care of you. And you could call this a disconnect or a feud between the haves and the have-nots, or I would say hardworking people and people that don't want to work hard. I mean, what happened in the last couple of years where people were taking unemployment compensation, choosing not to go to work, they're making more money by not working. It's like the first time that this has ever happened, and it just dumbs down people and makes them lazy or makes them lazier. That's not it. That's not it. I mean, the most successful people and most successful corporations are really people who are innovators and inventors. And necessity is the mother of invention. That means that if you don't have a necessity, if you don't have a need, you're not pushing for anything. When there's a need, like just a personal need, or you're trying to come out with a need in society, that should get the wheels turning in your mind. Many things happened during the pandemic. Many products were invented and created specific to the pandemic, which we did not have before. So there's a great necessity. If someone is not, I mean, a livable wage, it sounds to me like with what you are making, you cannot pay the rent and pay for food and have enough clothes. I mean, your basics. You got to at least be able to take care of that. And I wonder how many of these people do a budget, and just so you can figure it out on paper, actually add things up. This is like the number one most important problem that I see right now in society in recent days. And we have to fight it. Don't let these people like this woman who's just talking on here indoctrinate you. If you're not working, if you happen to be unemployed right now, don't become bitter. Don't feel like you want payback and get mad if you were fired or whatever it is. That's not the way to think. I don't want to have any animosity toward anybody. But I do believe that there's some truth in success is the greatest revenge. Get some time alone, meditate, where you can clear your mind, you can think, where you have peace and you're not being run over or dominated by emotion. And so ideas can come to you. There's so many different things that you can do. The feeling of entitlement, the people in government or so-called leaders saying this, and then also laws like the $300 you can get away with or $1,000 or less being a felony, and law enforcement and lawmakers being soft. We can't do that. Okay, don't forget to look up that song. Remember, the Smiths, Shoplifters of the World Unite. You know, kind of prophetic, written and recorded decades ago. Thanks everybody for taking this time to hang out. This is a short edition of Brutally Honest Talk Radio. We're going to be on break next week, taking a break, and then back the following week with a great episode for y'all. Take care, love, peace. See ya.